Hello and welcome to my reflections on day 68 of the Tao. It is surprisingly a beautifully sunny October day here in the southwest of the United Kingdom. Yeah, fantastic. So what has the Tao been about during day 68? It was about competition and collaboration, and like all these things, I think at the macro level, at the big level, it's quite easy to be able to step into the world of being being non-competitive and want to be able to seek to be collaborative with all things. It's quite easy to be collaborative with people. One of the things that's fascinating is as you take that idea of the microcosm of being collaborative down to your own thoughts, your own thinking, your own relationship with pain inside your body. Most people just want to get rid of it straight away. You know, at the age of 47, I had to think then, at the age of 47, I quite regularly these days wake up with the odd ache and pain in different places. I spent most of yesterday mucking about in the sea, so today I've just woken up a little bit stiff, and to practice what you preach and to invite it in, to collaborate with it, to see what it has to say, to converse with it, rather than just go, okay, I'm just going to get rid of it, or I'm going to be in competition with it, and actually bring out a big gun, you know, paracetamol or something, or ibuprofen, to deal with it. Collaboration and the wanting to collaborate with people, things, and even yourself and ideas. Very often when I talked about this to someone yesterday, they turned around and said to me, you're not allowed to have your own opinion then. And actually it's quite the opposite. But very often you end up in a place, in a space, that as soon as you say to someone that they can't, or that your opinion's different, is that straight away societally we've learnt to be able to step into a place of bigger, bolder, louder, and the person with the loudest voice ends up being the one that is somehow the winner, as opposed to maybe actually to be softer, to gentler. Maybe we actually catch more flies with honey than we do with vinegar. So I think it's really important for us to step into a place and a space where we really seriously consider this idea of collaborating with all things, in the same way that a surfer would with a wave, as I was trying to work out how to do yesterday, in order to be able to harmonise with it. You can't fight the sea. Sometimes there are some things you can't fight. So what we end up doing then is rejecting it and maybe disconnecting from it, as opposed to working out how we can be in harmony with it. And as I brought that down to a microcosm of thinking and really starting to explore what that actually meant for me as I experienced the world, was to think about also that in terms of how often do you collaborate with yourself? I instantly thought about the old Tom and Jerry cartoons, when quite often there's a puff of smoke and there's a devil on one shoulder and there's an angel on the other, and we all have those moments where we end up in a battle, a competition with ourselves, and some people more than others, where there's I can and I can't, the I should and I shouldn't, and there's a relationship between those two things, as opposed to, and that those two things are now fighting with each other, and so you end up having to do one thing or the other, as opposed to allowing them to collaborate. They're both your thoughts, they're both bits of you, they're both ideas that you've got. So actually to dig a little bit deeper and to go, what sits beneath them, what unifies them, actually what is the purpose of both of them? Because very often the purpose of both of them is exactly the same. On the one hand, you'll have a thought and something will stop you from doing something, and it's about keeping you safe. But on the other hand, and protecting maybe your ego at times, or your physical safety. And other times we're stopped from doing something because, What happens if we were to be all embarrassed and back to that ego thing again? Whereas sometimes actually the thing that also keeps us safe is doing it, because it allows us to grow and be energized and experience the world in lots and lots of different ways. And so thinking about how we experience the microcosms of some of the conversations in our head is really important. So I'm always going to encourage everybody to be able to collaborate. I'm always reminded of that when I think about the Tom and Jerry story, of that great Zen proverb of the two fighting dogs. And we can go through loads and loads of, versions of it, but fundamentally there's two dogs that fight. And, the inevitable question comes is which dog wins? And of course, you can go through, it must be the bigger one because that appears a bit stronger, or the smaller one because it appears a bit lighter and faster and agile, and so on and so forth. And very often, you can tie yourself up in knots in trying to work out what is and isn't the right answer. But of course, sometimes it's got nothing to do with that. Sometimes we've got to take a step out of it and start to think about it and see it from a different perspective. And of course, it doesn't really matter how big and strong you are, or how light and fast and agile you are. Essentially, the dog that wins is the one that gets fed. And so when we're in the place of competition all the time, then very often we're diverting our energies, because we have to feed both dogs in order for the fight to exist. So initially, collaborate. Be at ease with both ideas. Once again, it's a quote that I've heard many times, and I think it's attributed to either Plato or Socrates, or another great thinker at some point in time, is that the sign of true intellect is someone being able to hold two completely opposing ideas in their thoughts at once, and being able to agree and disagree with both of them at the same time. What does that mean? I think that means, for me, is the ability to be agile with our thinking, is to not to step into a world of right and wrong and black and white, and start to be able to understand that we need to be able to collaborate and move with the force and the energy of the world, or even ourselves, and to simply just park being in competition with ourselves each day. Why does today have to be better than yesterday? Actually, why can't today just be the day it is? Because yesterday was the day it was. My son has a great phrase: today's perfect, Dad, but tomorrow may be more perfectica. So wishing you all a perfect day, because it is the only day that you can currently have. So it is as it is, and sometimes the things that challenge us the most, we have the most to grow from. But wishing you all a more perfectica day tomorrow, when I see you on day 70, 10 weeks of the Tao. I'll see you all soon. Bye.